Yo, what's up guys? In this video I want to figure out how to actually find profitable trade-ups. I've seen multiple videos like these where it seems easy to do profitable trade-ups. So I went out and explored the topic myself to see how much work it actually takes to find good trade-ups and how to get the inputs for the trade-ups to answer the question if and how profitable trade-ups actually are. If you don't know how trade-ups work, let me try and explain it to you. In Counter-Strike you can trade 10 skins of the same rarity to get one skin of the next rarity. Except for knives and gloves trade-ups, because here you only need 5 coverts to trade up to a knife or glove. And if all 10 skins are from the same collection, the result will always be from that collection. For example, if you use 10 industrial grade skins from the cobblestone collection, you'll get a mil-spec skin from that collection. And in that collection there are 2 possible outcomes, so you'll have a 50-50 chance between them. If you mix the collection, the odds split based on how many skins you use from each collections. So for example, if you use 5 industrial grade cobblestone skins and 5 industrial grade sport and field skins, there's a 50% chance to hit each collection, and then within the collection there is 2 skins in the cobblestone collection, so 25% each, and in the sport and field there are 4 skins, so that will be 12.5% each. Another really important thing when it comes to trade-ups is the floats. Ever since the gold trade-up update there has been a new way of calculating what float you will get. Previously it was really simple, where they used the raw float values and put an average float from the 10 skins you added, but now it's a bit more complicated because now it calculates it based on the float cap. So if we take a look at the sword or foobar, which can only be found in 2 wares, which is well worn and battle scarred, and that is because the float is capped at 0.40. So previously if you traded up 10 of these low float 0.40 sword or foobars, you would get a well worn skin, but now when you use these 0.40 floats you will get factory new skins. It's a bit complicated, but that's why we are lucky there exist tools to help us along the way. For example, there is TradeUpSpy, which has been around for ages, which is a site where you can see different trade-ups, but they also have a very good calculator that we'll be using. So we can go to the calculator section and then we can scroll down, and here we can change the inputs. So the foobar is a mil-spec, for example, so we'll just keep it at this, and then we can click on this, and then we can look up the foobar and we'll put it in well worn. And here we get the sword or foobar. So if we adjust the float value to 0.40, we can now add the skin, and we can press the duplicate up here. So now we have 10 of these foobar inputs in a 0.40 float, and then if we scroll down we can see the different outputs, and here you can see they will all be factory new because that's where they're float capped at. And previously if you had done this trade up you would have gotten a well worn, but ever since the gold trade up it's the new system. So up here you can also see all the trade up cost and the profitability, but we will get on to that later in the video. So for now let's try to find some good profitable trade ups. So I found this site called Skin Grind. They are fairly new to the scene, but I think they already have a very decent product, and this isn't sponsored or anything, but they give out free member codes on the Discord, so a huge shout out. You can also take mine here. But we can head up to the trade ups tab and it will show you the top contracts right now, and we can click view all contracts and kind of look through if there is anything we want to do. But as you can see there are a bunch of different trade-ups. Let's take a look at this Incinerator. So here you'll need 10 of these Incinerators that are below this float, and if we go to this side we can check out what the float cap is, and as you can see it caps at minimal wear. So I'm guessing if you use these low floats you'll get a factory new output. So it says it costs $6.11, but if we go to see its float we can see in StatTrack the lowest price is $27, and in non-StatTrack the lowest price is $25. And that is because it's this float. If we put it on field tested, it will be $5.50, and this is where it gets a bit more complicated, but we'll get into that. So a good idea is always to double check these trade ups, and I'll use the TradeUpSpy for that. So the skin is pink, so we'll have to change the rarity to classified, and we'll do field tested, and we'll add it. So it's a 0.1846 float, so we will input that here. And then we can press add skin, but we can also do custom price, but let's look at that later. So we'll add it and duplicate it, of course. And this isn't the StatTrack version, but I think it's just as good. So here we can see the trade-up cost is almost $78, and the profitability with the fees on Steam Market is 378%, and that is absolutely crazy, but it isn't really representative, if you can say that, because we would have to go out and find these low float Incinerators for under $8. And yes, it's definitely possible. You can go to the Steam Market and scroll down and try to see if there are any low floats, and you can spend your day here refreshing the site and basically check but it's a lot of hassle. But I bet you some people are doing this because if they get the skin in a low float, they can easily sell it for more. So that's also a good way to make money, and that's basically guaranteed money. And what I like with TradeOpsBuy is that you can go down and it shows you some different marketplaces here. So you can just go onto DMarket, for example, and then you can check these marketplaces if there are any low floats for cheap you can try and snipe. So let's check market as well. And no, it doesn't look like we have any luck. And I promise you it's because there are definitely a bunch of people out here looking at those different sites trying to do the exact same as you, snipe those skins. And that's where it gets really complicated and really hard. And it's basically a dog-eat-dog world, but you know. So another thing we can do is on CS Float, we can put the float cap in, and let's just do normal for the sake of the video to make it easier. And then we can go on to the skin and we can see what buy orders there already is. So right now there are people trying to buy it for almost $25. You can see this guy, 9 of these low floats for $24.80. So if you were able to snipe one of those skins on the Steam market, you could actually go and fulfill this buy order. But let's try to input this value on the TradeOpsBuy side. So let's say we put a buy order on this for $25. Let's change all the values here. So now that we've done that, the trade-up cost is $250 and not the $80 it originally was. And for good measurement, let's also change these to the CS float price. So now we have the CS float price here, and we want to look at the no fees now. But then we also have to take into consideration if you want to sell it on CS float, you would have a 2% fee. So this would actually only be like 102% profit. And you have, of course, to be lucky to hit the M4 Emperor. So when you look at it that way, this isn't very profitable and you'll have to go on to the next one. But if you're on the grind and have a lot of time and try to find these items on the different marketplaces, this would be hugely profitable, and it's definitely something a lot of people do. And if you don't want to overcomplicate it, just go on the sites a couple of times a day and like refresh, and yeah, free money if there is, and if there isn't, just close it down and check again later. But this also shows why it's super important to check up on all the facts, because like in the CS scene, it's really painted out to be so easy to find profitable trade-ups, and the people who do it, they are like, it basically seems way too easy. But it's hard, but if you get good at it, you can earn a lot of money. And also I'll try to find even more marketplaces than these. There are also GamerPay, list skins, white.market, and so many other sites that you can try to snipe these skins on. For this video, we can conclude with good tools, it is possible to find trade-ups, and if you have the time to sit on different marketplaces, you can try to find ultra cheap inputs to maximize your profits. Otherwise, you can place buy orders on high liquid marketplaces like CS Float to get the inputs for a more expensive price, but it will still be profitable, but it takes a lot of work and you have to be prepared for that. You can't just go out, spend 10 minutes and you will make $50. But if you want me to make a video where I fully commit to buying inputs and trading them up for profit, please tell me down below in the comments and I'll make it happen. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.